Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. Thank you for your patience while we sorted ourselves out. We also had all sorts of minor issues this morning, as always. It's great to have you join us today to look at what is going on, has been going on in the Forex market, what is going on now, and much more important, what is likely to be going on later. But before we start, as usual, may I just draw your attention to the disclaimer that I know you can see on your screens, because I can see it on David's screen. As you know, trading can be a very risky business, so please don't ever think of using money that you cannot afford to lose. Now, this is a new series. I know some of you have joined us from the previous series that we were running until a couple of weeks ago, but we just started a fresh series on GoToWebinar, and we've actually got quite a lot of new people joining us today, along with our quantum users and some of our Forex program students. So for the benefit of those of you who perhaps are coming along for the first time and don't really know, what to expect in these sessions, I'm really just going to whiz through and just give a very brief overview of what we are going to look at. And of course, we're going to be looking at the markets through the prism of volume price analysis, which is our technical analysis, our technical chart way of analyzing the charts, and it's using price action and volume. But we also look at what obviously was happening on the fundamental space, in the fundamental space, but we also look at related markets, because the one thing you really have to appreciate with the Forex markets, the currency markets, that individual currencies have very close relationships with other instruments and markets, and sometimes these other markets are actually the reason for the driver of the buying and selling in that particular currency, and that obviously spills over onto the currency pairs. So you may do all your analysis on one chart, you may see the most perfect trading setup, and whatever system that you like to use, and then suddenly something will happen. Now, that could either be because of a piece of fundamental news, but it is also likely that it could be something that is going on, as we say, in a related market. The books that are up on Amazon explain the methodology in more detail, and also accompanying the books that explain the methodology, there are also companion books with worked examples of VPA actually on charts and basically what to look for. And the great news about volume price analysis, it's like everything in the markets, it repeats, it goes through cycles. So once you understand what we mean by buying and selling climax and the candle patterns that you look for, that will help you validate that the analysis, it repeats, and it repeats in all time frames. Along with the VPA, what we've done also, we've created these very, very specific indicators to help us give us an instant look into what is happening, what has been happening, what is happening, and a pretty good idea of what is likely to be happening next, because as traders, that's all we want to know. These are the four specialist Forex indicators, the CSI, the currency strength indicator, which really tracks the flows into, well, it does track the flows into individual currencies. And this, as I explained earlier, once you understand the relationships between individual currencies and perhaps other markets, you kind of begin to realize that you need to be aware of that, and secondly, as we can see here, this is an old screenshot, we have the Canadian dollar rising in this one, which is this purple line. Well, that kind of tells us there must be something going on in the oil markets. We have the currency matrix, where we take the data from the CSI and we put it into the pairs. In other words, which pairs have been moving most strongly, both as buying and selling, and we actually rank them. Then we have the array, which is a measure of the strength of the trend in any move in the currency pairs, and we have the heat map, which looks at the performance of the currencies along multiple time frames. Right, that's all I'm going to do on that, because obviously the thing to do is to see this all on the charts. Now, I've got David behind me. He's got Ninja Trader. I've got MT5. I've also got Ninja Trader, and what I was explaining before about the dash, what we call our dashboard, but you know, these indicators can be used as standalone indicators, but it's nice to use them, as we say, as part of the dashboard. And if we look immediately, this is the that new noise is an alert that I have on NinjaTrader, so I'll explain that later. This is the hourly chart for the CSI, and I like to use the hourly chart because this is my first stop when I open my platforms, because I don't even have to look at a chart. All I see is, I say, okay, well, we've obviously come out of the Asian session. We're just waiting for London to come on board. And now with MT5, MT4, you do have to hover over these lines and pick up the timestamp. Now it actually says 7, but you then have to take 2 hours off that. NinjaTrader, TradeStation, the other platforms are slightly more user-friendly, as it were. You will have the timestamp underneath the chart, as it were. So what have we here? Well, at 5 o'clock this morning, coming out of Asia, waiting for Europe to open. We can see prior to that, there's been some pretty heavy selling of the euro dollar, but since then, obviously, you know, what have we seen? Well, we're seeing a buy of the euro, and you can go through all these individual currencies, and obviously as a trader you may have a preferred currency. If you're in London and you know, this time zone, the chances are you will be looking more closely at something like the British pound. I know I do. The British pound is and I emphasize the currency, not the currency pair. Now you may then break that down into maybe 1 or 2 pairs, but initially you really want to see what is happening on an individual currency basis before perhaps moving on to either a pair to look for a trading opportunity, or if you're like me, you have maybe 1 or 2 currencies, and then you take that and maybe have 1 or 2 currency pairs that reflect that currency. So we know the euro has been selling off quite heavily. It's pretty much been oversold. We know it's the extent it's been oversold. These 2 reference points that we have on this indicator, they don't stand for anything in particular, other than it's to give your eye, if you like, some kind of reference point to say, okay, well, we know 20, when it gets to 20 or 80, we know that's pretty much oversold or overbought. But once it gets beyond that and it stays beyond that, you think, boy, oh boy, that is some pretty heavy selling or some pretty heavy buying. But we notice here, not a lot of, you know, none of the currencies have actually managed to get above the 80 in this time frame. The hour is just a nice time frame. It gives you a picture of what has been happening and where we are at the moment. So we can see that the euro, but it's now ticking up. Today, of course, is the FOMC, so you'll find the markets are possibly quite quiet. They go into a lot of consolidation, and that's across the markets, because this FOMC is so important, not just to the stock markets, but also to the performance of the US dollar. Other currencies that have been on the move or are now on the move, well, certainly the British, as I said, one of my preferred currencies is the British pound. While I can see it's been, has certainly been turning over since, well, 6 o'clock, take 2 hours, 4 o'clock in Asia time, and you know, it looks like we've got a bit of a sell on the British pound. The other thing to note with these lines is the angles, the steepness of the angle, because that also tells you something about whether it's, you know, there's been some decisive buying or selling, or whether in fact it's all been a little bit desultory. Now what's interesting, it's 8 o'clock and immediately we've seen a bit of a thump down. This is on the hourly chart, don't forget, of the British pound. It's obviously a new session, new traders. There's always volatility at session crossovers, but I haven't even looked at a chart yet, because I still want to, you know, get a flavour of what's been happening. It's just coincidence that it's 8 o'clock with the London session, and as I said, I don't have to look at charts at the moment. Now, the next indicator, the sister indicator, if you like, to the CSI is the matrix, because what it does is picks up the flows into the individual currencies and then puts them together into the pairs, which pairs have been moving most strongly. And what you can do with this indicator, because as I said, one of my preferred currencies is the British pound. So what I want to see is, well, how is the British pound being performing in what we call in its matrix, in its pairs, if you like. And what this indicator does, as I said, it ranks all the 28 pairs. If I just take that off, you can see, well, what has been, if you were just looking for a trading opportunity and you weren't fixated on a particular currency or currency pair, you just want to see what's been moving, what is likely to be moving, and more importantly, what's not moving, then you would simply have it on as it is now, and you would see, well, actually the New Zealand yen's been moving quite nicely. You would expect that because it's just coming out of Asia. And you look at the lines for the New Zealand and the yen. Well, the New Zealand has been rising strongly, and I don't quite know why I keep getting this message on here. So I don't quite know. Ah, there we are. Do apologise about that. Things popping up on my machine. So we've got the New Zealand yen at the top, and we've got the pound New Zealand at the bottom. Obviously, that reflects a strong buying of the New Zealand. Hasn't quite got to overbought, so possibly there's some, it's got further to run on there. And the yen has been selling. Now that tells me two other things of what I can expect in the rest of the market. First of all, yen selling is positive for risk in the sense that the market has a tolerance for risk. It's buying risky assets such as equities and the indices. And I would look over to the indices at this point and I see what's been happening. Well, the Nasdaq's up, 27. Not a huge number because, these last couple of days I've been looking at the Nasdaq in the morning, and overnight it's been going up in triple digits, which I have to say is not the norm. It's 25 is much more the norm. It's quite quiet, as I said, because of the FOMC. And I look at the other two indices that what are they? Well, the S&P, the 500 futures, which is the S&P 500, that's up 6, and this is the equivalent of the Dow. It's up 53, 55. So simply by virtue of the fact that the yen has been falling tells me that that is what I would expect. The New Zealand rising also tells me that, but I think there's also been some positive New Zealand news. Now, normally it would be followed quite strongly by the Aussie dollar. The Aussie dollar's not been reacting in the way, it's been a little bit up and down, as it were. But again, it's the multiple factors that help to drive the currency. You have the technical factors, you have the practical factors. Banks are actually buying and selling on behalf of, big orders, mergers, acquisitions, where, huge amounts of currency have to either be bought or sold. It's going to be driven by local factors, fundamental news, what is happening, to their economies, as it were, during this this very horrible time that we are living through. The Australian dollar is also closely linked to China. So you have these multiple factors which all help to explain why a currency may be bought or oversold. But the narrative of what is going on, not only with the currency and the currency pairs and the broader markets, is all explained to you in these two indicators. So New Zealand yen, well, it's at the top of the matrix. What I also then want to have a look at is the numbers by the side, because these numbers are actually quite important. We have got an upgrade to this indicator for those of you who have it on MT5 and NinjaTrader and a Trading View. In that, we will be putting another feature onto the indicator, which basically tells us, is 35 in the hourly chart, is that an average value, a low value, or a high value? Because it also helps you determine whether that's been a strong move or perhaps just a bit of a desultory move. 35 is not a huge number for the hourly chart. This has been in triple digits, as it were. So again, another little anything to give us as much insight into what is going on in the heart of this market for individual currencies and currency pairs. And as I said, that's even before we even decide if you are a completely indiscriminate Forex trader, in terms of where you're just looking for something to trade, or you want to know what your preferred currency is doing. Now, as I said, mine is the pound. And what I see here is, well, I've got the, and I even actually reduce it even further. I don't tend to look very much at the euro pound. A cable, I do a lot with pound Aussie, and sometimes with pound New Zealand, but a lot with pound Aussie, because I get to know the pairs, and I really get to know, you know, when they're likely to be moving, when they're not likely to be moving. But you know, I can't tell you, look at this, you know, look at this pair, look at this currency. We can only explain to you that certain currencies tend to move more strongly at certain session times, clearly because they have more of a connection with that session, and then you can filter it through down to the individual pairs and really what you feel more comfortable with. What you also have to be aware of is, if you are going to be on the very, very fast charts, then you also have to be aware of the spread. And it also explains why so many traders focus on the euro dollar, because most brokers offer very competitive spreads on that one currency. It's a hugely traded currency pair. The problem is the euro dollar doesn't always move very much, and it's in a tight range. And if you're on the fast charts, that can be, you know, a bit of a pain. But also with the currencies such as pound Aussie, the spread may be wider, and you may, you know, and if you're on the fast chart, it may not be suitable for you. There's all sorts of factors to take into account with currency pairs. It suits me, the pound Aussie. I tend to be on the 10-minute, the 3, the 4-minute, and then I look at the 30 and the 60-minute for reference. Now, back to VPA, I just want to bring up the pound Aussie. I'm not going to do it in this little segment, so I'm going to pass over to David, because what I want to have a look at is one of the elements of VPA, a huge element of VPA, is support and resistance. We, as part of the quantum trading indicators, we have developed support and resistance, price-based ones, but we've also got volume-based ones based on the volume point of control, and we have Camarilla levels. But today I want to have a look at looking at support and resistance through the volume, through the prism of what I call the volume resistance. These are these lines or zones that are produced by what we call the volume point of control. Let me just go to the 10-minute chart, because it has an important relationship to when if you're in a move, and basically where you can expect to see a potential reversal, a potential entry point, but also, more importantly, looking at it through in multiple time frames, and also using it together with, let me just bring it up here we are, the CSI. Because the CSI is really a kind of, we look at overbought, oversold. So I'm looking at mean reversion, you're looking at reversals, you're looking at crosses. Crosses are when the trend is already underway, and obviously a reversal is when from overbought to oversold, you're going to be looking for exactly that, a reversal. And what I tend to do is I filter out all the other indicators on a chart, all the other currencies on a chart, so I just have the ones that I am focused on, and I'm not seduced by, I suddenly see, oh my goodness, look at that fantastic move that's suddenly come into the euro. Oh, why am I not in the euro? Because that's what happens when, it's very easy. No, my focus is on, the British pound. I know what I'm doing, and okay, it's awfully interesting with the euro. Good luck to the euro traders for that day. But as far as I'm concerned, it's me and the pound for today. Let me look at what's happening on the pound Aussie. And the nice thing about that, this is on the 10-minute. This is the sell that we can see on the pound Aussie. And let me just go up to a slower time frame very quickly. As I said, I'll come back to this in more detail because I really want to explain this in more details. Going up to the hourly chart, fine, okay, right. That gives me the narrative of what this price action is doing, and much more important, what it is likely to do in the coming, in the next few minutes, as it were. Right, I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to pass over to David.